Birdman here, hanging out in the Birdman Media Studios. And with me today, I've got two guests from the county. I've got Bryan Layton, and your official title is?
Assistant County Manager.
Okay, Assistant County Manager. And of course, Adam Wolfe, the Communications Director. Or did you get more to your title?
Government Relations Director, Communications Director, either one works.
There you go. Awesome. Cool. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on with the county, primarily the budget and some of the concerns that people have about what's going on with the budget, things that are impacting the budget. You know, we've heard things closing, we've heard things changing. So, Bryan, I'd like to really just sort of let you sort of take the lead here and tell us what are the big things that are going on and what did you present today to the Board of Supervisors?
Thank you, Rob. So today we adopted the 2019 budget, and starting there, we had a good fiscal year. Rob, sales tax came in stronger than we expected from the state. Our local economy was performing a little better. So this year, we had a good year. We were able to save a little bit more than we expected, and so we have a little bit more in the bank going forward. So the conversation that we've been having with the community is what happens from here going forward. So you've probably seen in the paper about the Navajo generating station, NGS, right? So NGS isn't even located in Navajo County. It's in Coconino County, but it has a big impact on us. The Kayenta coal mine is in Navajo County, and the Kayenta coal mine sells nearly all of its coal to NGS. NGS buys nearly all of its coal from Kayenta mine. So as goes NGS, it'll impact the Kayenta mine. The Kayenta mine is a big sales taxpayer for us. It also has plant and property that impacts our property tax. You've probably also seen news about Cholla Power Plant. So Cholla Power Plant has to close by 2025, and that's due to a lawsuit with the EPA. So it's a little frustrating in that we've had a good year this year, and we're set up in a good position going forward were it not for the closure of these power plants.
Okay. In the past, there's been a lot of talk, and we talked about PILT, which is payment in lieu of taxes, and we talked about a fiscal cliff for a little while that we were worried about. And so the uptick in economy, you said through sales tax, is that really what's sort of driving the better positioning for the county?
That's been the biggest factor, Rob. It's also helped our legislative team as it went down to work with state legislators. We've had a ton of support from our state lawmakers. And so working together, we've been able to lower some of the state cost shifts that we've had and really create a better position for us financially. So it's been teamwork with the state and a better economy.
Very cool. So talk to me a little bit about Navajo County specifically as opposed to the other counties in Arizona. I mean, obviously Maricopa County, kind of easy to understand why they don't have the struggles as Navajo County does. But is Navajo County different in any way than the other counties in regards to tax collection, whether it be property taxes or anything like that?
That's a great question. I think we fall into two camps there. You have your larger counties and your smaller rural counties. As a rural county, we have the same frustrations and complications as others. Just we have a big area. Our county is huge, 10,000 square miles, right? Population 112,000 people. So we have a very large area to deliver services in, and we're not all funded the same way. Navajo County has the fourth lowest property tax rate, and we have the fourth lowest property values. So we provide all the same services as other counties, but our our property tax does not bring in the same amount relative as other counties. I think the other big thing is the coal power plants. Whereas some of our neighboring counties are struggling as a rural county, they don't have this cliff that we're looking at as well. We're seeing you're going to see a huge chunk of our revenues, $2.5 million, disappear.
Wow. Is there any hope that somebody else would purchase the coal? Is that even an outside hope, or is that kind of like because of the attack on coal over the last so many years?
That's been talked about. You've probably seen in the paper, the presidential administration has issued some statements in support of coal, which has been very encouraging to see. We've participated in different negotiations, planning sessions about that. Nothing concrete as of right now.
Okay.
Well, and just to jump in on that, because you had asked about the coal itself specifically, so the Kayenta mine, The why it goes to NGS so easily is there's the railway that goes right there. You would have to develop new transportation to take it elsewhere. So that is one issue that goes specifically with the Kayenta mine.
Okay, so the path is sort of built to take the coal directly to where it's going right now.
That's always been where the demand was.
Okay, well, yeah. Cool. What else was presented today, and what are we looking at as far as finances?
So this isn't a new conversation. We've known this was coming, right? And we've been looking forward to this. We've engaged our lawmakers, and we've tried to develop different opportunities. So what we presented to the board today was here's our financial outlook, and then we also presented a revenue analysis. So best scenario is that we replace that revenue, right? The county's been cut back a lot over the past decade. During the recession, we lost a lot of positions. We have 16% fewer positions than we did in 2008. Our general fund is less. We've cut back on spending in a lot of areas. So moving forward, it's going to be tough taking out that much of our properties tax and sales tax. So today we presented analysis of all the different revenues that the county has. There's just not many levers there, Rob. As we look as a county, there's not. We can't change a whole lot. We don't have authority to change a lot. One tool that does exist is called a jail district. So 8 other counties currently use a jail district to help support for the day-to-day operations of their jail. It doesn't build a new jail. It doesn't remodel the jail. It just pays for the day-to-day. So that is a tool that's available to us, and we presented that to the board today. The sheriff made the formal recommendation to the board, asking them to approve the establishment of a jail district.
Okay, so what's entailed in setting that up and getting it operational?
The first step is a public budget hearing, and that'll be scheduled August 14th. There in Holbrook, with the board meeting that day. And then we need to have a broader conversation with our communities, right? Our cities and towns, our partners, our community partners. We need to have this discussion, engage with them. Assuming that we move forward, then it would go to the voters. It'll be on the ballot in November.
Okay, this November's ballot.
Correct.
Okay. One of the questions that's going to come up being in Show Low is then they just put in the new facility there is with the joint operation. Does it affect that in any way? And how does it impact that?
It would not impact that facility. I think that facility is a good example of how the sheriff is trying to adapt and create new partnerships, especially with our local law enforcements. It's a great move, a great partnership. Continuing funding levels where they are would make sure that the sheriff can continue to have those partnerships. He talked today in the meeting about all the different partnerships that he has with the Navajo Nation, the White Mountain Apache tribe, and the different cities and towns. Having a consistent level of funding enables him to keep those partnerships in place.
Very cool. And then what would they be voting on whenever it comes to the ballot in November? What exactly would it be?
It would say, do you support the establishment of a jail district for the Navajo County? And really what we need to help folks understand is that it's a vote to support public safety and make sure that we have a stable and consistent funding source for public safety. You know, we don't want the quality of our public safety contingent on what happens to a coal power plant in another county.
Okay. And so how does it get, where does the money come from? What's the funding? How does it get, is it through state? Is it through county? Where does the funding come from?
It's a sales tax, Rob. So it would be 1/3 cent. Again, as we had that discussion today with the board about the different revenue options that we could or could not change, one discussion that we had was the equity of a sales tax versus something like a property tax, where a small portion of our population would bear the burden of that entire tax. With a sales tax, it's spread out among everybody, and it's also spread out among all of our visitors as well.
Okay, and the sales tax is collected uniformly everywhere across the county that sells things? Is that how that works?
Correct.
Okay, Cool. So it doesn't matter if they're coming up through River Rock or not River Rock, was it Window Rock? Thank you. Window Rock or down in here in Sholo or Pine Top Lakeside, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things we had discussed with the board today is just what that 1/3 cent means. So if you're buying a $6 value meal at McDonald's, 2 cents would be another 2 cents. As Bryan said, people coming through, the visitors, would actually contribute, because if they stay at a hotel, let's say it's $120, it's 40 extra cents. And even though that doesn't seem like a lot, those little pennies over time do add up to help balance the budget.
Yeah, I always jump back to the Superman movie, where he collected all the little parts of pennies and ended up with millions and drove in with a Ferrari, right? Except the county won't be buying any Ferraris, but
No, and that's actually a really good point. This just helps us fill the gap. It really does. It doesn't allow us to increase really in any way. It just fills the gap of what we lose with the coal power plants.
right. Okay, awesome. And just to be aware, we've got other issues that are coming up in the November ballot that have nothing to do with the county, where people need to be aware that could affect the power plants up here as well. And I encourage everybody to research that and find that out. We'll be talking about that on a different show coming up, but it's important that we all sort of know what the issues are when you're voting, and go with that and make your decisions based upon the real information, right?
Absolutely. Public education and just providing that information is crucial, especially when it comes to voting. We want you to know what you're voting on. You shouldn't go into a ballot and say, oh, no, I don't want that because it comes from the county, or I do want that just because it comes from the county. What does it say? What does it mean to your life? And our goal over the next weeks and months will be to educate the public on that. Go to the different city councils, cities and town councils, chambers, and discuss what does this mean for you as residents, and what are you actually voting on.
Very good. Anything else people need to know?
We'll have more information coming up on our website, and we'll be putting more out. So stay tuned.
Very good. Awesome. So once again, Bryan Layton and Adam Wolfe. This is the Navajo County Update. I'm Birdman. We'll see you again soon.